All right, folks, welcome back to another edition. Rob, how the hell we doing?
Good, man. Moved inside.
I was gonna say you got a new setting over there.
Oh yeah.
What a great day. I mean, we just had an event end about 40 minutes ago. I'm all for however we need to do it, whatever we need to do. I'm all for Hawaii time.
Oh, the night golf's great.
Dude, it's unbelievable. And then,
Yeah.
we get it next weekend with the Sony. So,
Sure.
I
Yep.
mean, I don't think I've ever realized it. Maybe I just didn't really think about it a whole lot, but it hit
Well,
me.
now you have a yeah. Well, now you have a kid. That's
Yeah,
why it's key.
right. It hit me on Friday. I was sitting there, it was like 7:30. I'm like, dude, this is awesome.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I'm like, this is super cool. Usually, obviously, you guys all know events are over by like five, maybe six tops, but like it was pitch dark out. Like I was getting tired. Golf was on. Like it was a whole different ball game.
Oh
So
yeah.
I'm super down with that. Like I said, whatever we need to do, maybe we need to look into, having a HDT, doing a Hawaiian golf tour because
Oh yeah.
I'm all for it, man.
No, it is nice, especially like you said, you get to get everything done during the day, and then you have the night just to chill out and watch some golf.
Yeah, I kept like looking at my phone and I'm like, man, I know it's only what 4 hours, but I'm like it seems awfully early there, and I'm like, hey, whatever, I'll take it. You know,
Right.
golf's on.
Hmm.
Um, how about the finish? Great finish. I thought the tournament was awesome all around. I'm not one to be like, oh, it was too easy. Like I love seeing that.
Yeah, it was because what happened yesterday, right? JT shot 12 under, and then Rom, like what, 2 hours later, shot 12 under.
JT shot 12 under and he moved like three spots.
Right.
That's it.
Dude, you know what I love too is watching how many times guys take it off the driver off the deck
Yeah.
for this tournament.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was good.
Yeah. I think the tournament's awesome. I mean, obviously, with the stack field, pretty much what I was reading is that there was essentially just like no wind. And I guess the wind is howling pretty much every year. There was like,
Right.
no wind. It was obviously playing soft. They were playing, you know, um, clean in place for what? Two,
Thursday, Friday, I thought.
yeah, 2 out of the 4 days. But like, I don't have a problem with the first tournament of the year. Those guys are going super low and, 34 under, whatever. I think it's awesome. Yeah, I could care less. I mean, if it was like the majors or the masters, then I would be like, okay, this is ridiculous. But
What
you
was
know,
it? Matt Jones at what, 24 under for the last 2 days? Oh yeah,
yeah,
Matt Jones. It's
yeah,
like the record. It's
yeah, he
crazy.
just set a record. Unreal. Cam Smith, man, I love him. The hairdo, everything about him is swag. I mean, it's so ridiculous. He just looks like a complete like hillbilly, but I think he loves, almost having that like trend setting John Daly esque like look about him.
Yeah, yeah. It's he's like one of the guys for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And then obviously Rombo was there, all weekend. So it was a great
Um,
finish.
yeah, I mean he was pretty sick too. He's got to be top like five for me favorites. Like to see him win, obviously. So, but it was a good tournament.
Who Rombo?
Yeah, love
Yeah,
Rambo.
I like Rombo. I think he takes his job very seriously, and
Hmm.
it's cool to watch that. Um, he's also, I feel like a big like teddy bear. Like he's a pretty emotional guy. Similar to like a Spieth or a Rory. Like he'll pretty much just tell you how it is.
Hmm.
But yeah, I like Rombo a lot. I think he's going to be around for a long time. Um, his swing is super unique. His ability to just pound balls, his touch. I mean, he's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a good weekend. Somehow, if we can get more of that besides the first two tournaments of the year, that would be awesome. But we have a great episode today to
Yep.
the second episode to kick off the new year here. We have Mr. Good Golf Only, Daniel, which is a Chicago company.
Yep.
So Mr. Good G is going to be on here shortly, and then we'll roll into that interview. But yeah, we're pumped, man. It's already starting off to be a hot year.
I mean, golf is back, man. We're ready.
It is. I've noticed a pretty big uptick just in social media alone, in terms of like our website, our page views and stuff like that. I think golf being back on is basically like, kickstarted that for a lot of people.
Sure.
So it's cool to see people are starting to get the itch again.
Well, I mean, I think it's also with the new golf equipment coming out, people get excited about that. So it gets you start thinking about the season and stuff like that, the Christmas presents, all that fun stuff. So
right.
I think, we're there.
Speaking of new equipment, so that Stealth looks insane.
Did you see the presentation box? Like
no.
The whole kit that comes in it? Oh, dude. It's some of the, I don't want to say influencers, but whatever you want to call it, the reviewers, they got these special boxes with the driver, but it had like a paint can in there. It was like, oh yeah, it's on Twitter. You got to see it. It's pretty sick. The whole presentation.
I will check that out. I love that stuff. I seen the one a couple months ago for the new Bridgestone balls, and it had like the mini little LED like TV on the front. Yeah. Like that's bananas. And they send those out to like all those top influencers. Like that's the marketing dollars for that's got to be like through the roof.
Yeah, I mean the Stealth driver had within the paint can, it was like like a valuables pouch, scorecard holder, all this little fun trinkets to go with the carbon, theme of it. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, but that driver looks insane. The price is also insane. So, I mean, God bless.
Oh God, I just don't get it.
It's sickening, man. I mean, God bless people who are gonna, because it's gonna happen. People are gonna buy them no matter what. But like, the look of that thing is awesome. Although I kind of got in a little pissing match with somebody the other day about just like, so the whole carbon face like that's not new. That's all old tech, and that's just, in my opinion, that's just like a huge marketing play. But old tech does come back into, and not even old tech, just old anything, whether that's old toys or whatever, all that stuff resurfaces at some point. But like, I think the look alone is awesome, except for that like bottom fin. I don't know if I could deal with that. It kind of has a weird look to it, doesn't it?
What did you ever play the Sim 2? Did you ever hit that or anything like that?
No.
Okay. So I feel like, with those, like you're saying, that fin, I got to hit it once or twice, but yeah, I agree with you. Some things are like a mind,
So that's honestly like, well, obviously I like the performance of Titleist woods, but that's a main reason I'm a Titleist guy, is just because their look is always just like super clean. It's not like overly big, like some of these driver heads now are just like, my buddy has the Ping G425, and I just like look down the line at it. I'm like, this thing is massive. Like it's like swinging one of those like whoosh training things. Like it's just huge. It feels like you're swinging a kite. So the look and the appearance is huge for me. And that's why I think like Titleist is just, they don't really ever change colors, just the black crown, the face sits how it usually sits, and they're all like the same rounded head. And that's just, that I love that look. I think it's just super clean, and, it's easy on the eye, but I mean, golf is back, man.
Oh yeah. Makes me want to, besides looking outside and seeing Mystery Alaska this morning.
Yeah. I mean, how about it? All the ice.
Took a little spill. Yeah, took a little spill myself.
Did you?
Oh, dude, I was taking out the garbage this morning, and I went out in shorts and just my winter boots, and I felt like it was slow-mo. Like my feet went above my head, right on the tailbone.
Ooh.
Not good.
No, not good. Did you
even worse, all the neighbors saw. So it was yeah.
really?
Oh yeah.
Ouch.
Mm-hmm.
You should get one of those ring alerts, around your neck and get you go down again. But our first guest of the year is in the waiting room. So first guest of 2022 is Mr. Good Golf Only, and that's Daniel. So we're gonna let him in here.
Let him in.
Let him in.
What's up? How are you?
Daniel,
what's going on,
man? How we doing?
Nice to meet you.
You
doing
too.
well. Doing well.
Yeah, we introduced you as the Mr. G, Mr. Good Golf Only.
Yes,
Daniel. And so what necessarily is, walk us through exactly what Good Golf Only is.
Yeah. So Good Golf Only is a brand now, but it kind of started as a concept or an idea. The backstory is it was an Instagram account that got started because when I got married, I was playing a ton of golf and people were like, get your golf content off of your personal Instagram. Like, you're married now, like, put that somewhere else. And I was like, okay. My brother and I started saying it when we grew up caddying. And for some reason, one of our guys we caddied for would always say, like, want to go play G? And we're like, you don't have to shorten the word golf. It's 4 letters. And so it kind of stuck. And so we started saying good G only a lot. Like, let's go play some good G only. It turned into Good Golf Only as a brand. But we kind of call it good G only generally. And it started as an idea with an Instagram account primarily. What it's morphed into now is a full-time, or not a full-time, but it's a brand where we sell golf merchandise, apparel, and stuff like that. We just started hosting events within the last 2 years. So we do a Ryder Cup every year. It's called the Invite. It's 12-on-12 full Ryder Cup, Europe versus America. And then we just started hosting a series of events called the Regional. And the Regional is in Chicago, and we hosted one in Pinehurst, North Carolina last year. That's kind of more, like it sounds, regional meetups to meet new people, play like 2-man type events or like a quota type game. And then we make golf content, not really for sale necessarily. We don't do a lot of like commercial golf content. But it's primarily for, people to find new courses, learn about golf, check out some of our blog posts, stuff like that. So that's the only, yeah.
Very nice.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think, let's see, I became familiar with you guys with, I played with a member on the Chicago Golf Tour like 2 years ago at Ravislow, and he was wearing a Good Golf Only hat. I think that one you had, or maybe the gray one. And I said, hey, where'd you get that hat at? And he's like, oh, they're a Chicago company. I'm like, dude, that thing's pretty sick. And then that's when I messaged you, and then we kind of started a relationship. Obviously, I ordered a couple hats, and I love it. You guys put out a lot of really good content. You actually got a chance to play Kapalua recently, didn't you?
Yeah, so we were out in Hawaii, in Maui for about 12 days. Played 5 rounds of golf. It was supposed to be a family trip with my wife's family for her sister's birthday. Turned it into a golf trip because we were in Maui. So played the Wailea like resort courses 3 or 4 times, and then played Kapalua. And I mean, I was just watching it, rooting for Cam Smith the whole time. And that place is insane. I tweeted it out earlier this week, but they were doing some of those segments about undulation.
Yeah.
You can't fully understand the undulation of that place until you've stood on like the bottom of 18 fairway or even 1 tee box, stuff like that. That place is nuts. Yeah.
Phil was just talking about that after his round. I think it's post round Friday. He was like, I'm gassed. He's like, I don't think you guys, I don't think the TV does it justice. He's like, there's a lot of, undulation, like you said, but he's like, I'm not in shape. He's like, I'm absolutely gassed. He was like winded, holding on to his hips. And he was like, I don't think you guys realize like how big of a drop off some of these holes are.
Yeah. And if you were measuring ball speed on like an amateur, like when I was out there, I'm sure the ball speed was within 3-4 miles an hour difference. And I hit a drive maybe 210, 214, and I felt like I flushed it. Yeah. And then I hit one 365. And it's just like the gap between those is mostly the undulation. And then they had really, really benign conditions this week. I mean, it was so easy for them, obviously. The top 3 guys set the scoring record on the PGA Tour, which is crazy. But when I played it, it was the back 9 is so exposed. Once you get up on that 10th tee, the wind it felt like it was blowing 25, 30 sustained the whole time. The gusts were crazy. And so if you're downwind, that's awesome. But that par 3 they show, 11, awesome, beautiful hole. I hit a draw with the wind. It started at the right side of the green and it was all the way missed left. I mean, it probably moved 45 yards with maybe a 6-yard draw. It was insane on a 160-yard shot. So it's pretty crazy.
Rob and I were just talking about that before you came on. Basically how everybody lit it up because essentially that there was no wind. And then I said, you know what, I'm okay with that as the first event of the year, you know, having guys just go out and attack holes, fire, you know, put up ridiculous scores. Who cares? Like it was a blast to watch. But you know, what would, besides, you know, the conditions, the wind and stuff like that, like how are the vistas? I mean, obviously the vistas are unbelievable. Well, like what was your other biggest takeaway about Kapalua?
Yeah, so it's an interesting spot because it's very resort. Like as a tourist, when you show up there, it's very resort. I played with only one other guy. It was not a full tee sheet, and this is middle of August, so it's kind of, I mean, not their peak season, but everyone's out of school, so you'd expect it to be more busy. And it's very laid back, but it's not like a cool vibe. Like, I don't know if you guys have been to like Sand Valley or like Abandon or something like that has that like golf paradise vibe. This is kind of like, you know, middle-aged people on like business trips is kind of what it feels like. Like they bucked up $450 to play the course. So it's not vibey, but when you're out there, it was one of the most serene golf experiences I've ever had. Like when you see those vistas on TV, you're like, wow, this is beautiful.
Right.
Whole time you're looking around and I'm trying to get videos and my wife is taking some cool photos and you're trying to get iPhone photos. It just doesn't capture like, oh, so I should draw it off the right end of Molokai. Like that's my start line. Like things like that are just kind of crazy. And so I was actually born in Hawaii. So I lived there for a little while.
Oh, wow.
The Hawaiian vibe is just different. Like everyone's laid back. Everyone's nice. So it's just a really good like resort experience. The thing that stuck out to me is like these guys shooting 61, 62, 63. They say it all the time, but like, damn, those guys are good. Like I was playing good from a tee box up from them. And I have a fairly decent handicap and I shot 81 and I was like proud of it. Yeah. I told my wife yesterday, I was like, I got beat by 20 strokes by Rom. And like, I feel like I played good. Like, I don't feel like I played poorly. It's way harder than they make it look, like way harder than they make it look.
Right.
There's some of those spots where I don't know, it's definitely not links golf, but it plays like links golf where like if you hit it up on the right bank of the left side of a green, you can get it to roll 15 yards down to the right. And if you miss though, you're boned. Like, I don't know if you saw Cam Smith on 9 today, hit a perfect shot. It hit right into that bank, came back 20 yards. He got it up and down because the short game's nasty, but like, that's a bogey for us. You know, that's a double bogey for us.
Right.
And the one thing I remember that sticks out is the guy said, he's like, everything breaks to that island out there, which is Molokai. Oh, my brother after the round, I'm like, dude, it was sick. But I was reading green speed. I was reading grain. I was reading the wind on the putts because it was so windy. And I had to factor in everything breaks to Molokai. So you're looking at a putt like a 12-footer and you're like, I'm factoring in 4 things. You're like, I don't know, hit it straight, I guess. Like, yeah, but an incredible experience. Absolutely incredible.
Yeah, and I saw Nah, I think that was the same day after the second round. He went out and said, he was like, you know what? It's hard to like remember that you're here playing golf. I think he doubled, or let's see, he had a bogey start. He even said, he's like, I almost forgot like I was here. He's like, it's easy to kind of get lost in the vistas. And then he's like, oh yeah, you know, I'm playing golf. Sorry, I got to get back to work. But like JT said the same thing. Like, it's very easy to just get like caught up in the views and like forget where you're at. And then, you know, basically, you know, it's easy to lose focus in round. So,
right.
Yeah. So my wife is like a photographer kind of by background, and so she'll come, and she's great. She'll ride rounds with me, and that's usually how, when we get good photo content that's like not off an iPhone, it's usually from her taking it. And I was like, okay, here, take a shot here. And then like a hole later, you're like, oh, no, just take one shot here. And she's like, I've taken like 300 photos. Like, I'm like, no, but this is the best vista. Like every hole, just like the vista keeps kind of outdoing itself. 17 though, like 18 is that tee box where it's like, everyone's going to hit a 350-yard drive if you hit the slot. 17 is probably one of the coolest, most beautiful spots I've ever seen in golf. Like you're at the absolute peak. The backyards around you are amazing. And you're basically like, if I even hit this decent, it's going to roll out 300 yards. And it just, yeah, I love Core Crenshaw. They did an amazing job discovering that course. But as a resort course, it doesn't feel like, oh, this is an easy resort course. Like it's very, very challenging. Yeah. The routing's still unique too. Like Phil said, like everyone takes a cart. A lot of that stuff is pretty far apart. Like when you walk off 9 green to get to 10 tee box would probably be like a 7-minute walk if you were going to walk it like straight uphill.
Really?
So they cart the pros around. But the routing is really interesting. Like you kind of go all over that property.
Very cool. Very cool. I mean, obviously that's probably, besides like the Bannon and all the, big destination vibey, getaways, Kapalua's got to be up there for me. Easily top 5, top 10. I mean, place is ridiculous. But we were talking before you got on. We also, we're treated next weekend with the Sony. So, for some of those guys to just be like in Hawaii for like 2 to 3 weeks has got to be awesome.
I know.
Like just
nice little stretch for him.
It's crazy. My brother, who he's so it's myself, my brother, and then 2 of my college roommates are the owners of our brand together. And he was texting me and he's like, dude, why does Rory not go to this event? And I was like, I don't know. Like, that's how you know you have a good life, when you're not going to Hawaii to play golf when they're about to pay you a guaranteed check. And sure pays them to show up. Like, that's how you know you have a good life, if you're saying no to Hawaii golf trips.
Yeah. You have a good job when you could be like, hey, no thanks. You guys go without me.
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of golf, so you're in the West Loop, correct?
Yes. Yep.
So obviously, we're pretty spoiled here in the Chicagoland area, Illinois, with golf. What are some of your favorite tracks, whether that's, private, public, in not only the city where you're at, but in the Chicagoland area in general?
Yeah. So I'm going to extend the question into Southwest Michigan too, because I think that's part of Chicagoland area, sort of, in my opinion. So in the city, I mean, the only place really to play golf is Harborside. I think they've got a really good routing for 36 holes. It's actually a pretty challenging course. They keep it in really good shape, except for 18 is always covered in goose crap for some reason, which is just very frustrating. But that's kind of like, if we're going to play money matches on a Saturday, that's where we're going to go. We're going to try to go to Harborside, pay the $110, which I think most of Chicago golf is a little overpriced, but that's a little overpriced for there. Yeah. We'll do a lot of like southwest suburbs. I think that's where the best value in Chicagoland is.
Yeah.
I think Ravislow is honestly one of the best courses in Chicagoland. Like, for what you pay to walk a Donald Ross course that's in kind of its original condition, that's like one of our favorite spots to get out to. And then I grew up in the west suburbs. So I grew up in Wheaton. So I got to play Chicago golf, which was an absolute treat, obviously. That was recently. Got to play with the head pro out there, my father-in-law and my uncle. So that was a pretty cool experience. I think that's the best private I've been able to experience in Chicago. But the western suburb golf is really good. I grew up at Cantini, and so also expensive. I think Cantini's kind of pushing the price limit now, but the quality of golf out there is kind of unmatched for public golf outside of maybe Mistwood, in my opinion. And I love that they have 27. The other thing I like about Chicago golf is, with not being a member at a club and living in the city, I feel like there's a lot of really good like club events. So like Cog Hill puts on a ton of like, fall, spring, winter kind of club events that are like 2-man scramble, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Cantini does a good job with that. So I feel like that's a fun way to stay involved if you're not a member at a club. So those are my favorites. Where I think the hidden gems are in this area, is like Southwest Michigan or even West Michigan. Like if you're willing to get an hour and a half, 2 hours away, my wife's parents have a place up there. That golf is absolutely incredible, perfect condition. And it's probably like 60% of the price of Chicagoland golf generally. Yeah. And then they have amazing privates as well. So
where'd you like to play up there?
So my favorite course in the world is Dunes Club, Kaiser's First, which is only like, 75 minutes from the city. It's pretty close. That's obviously hard to get on. I just played Lost Dunes, which is another private that's pretty awesome. But the like West Michigan, kind of west of Grand Rapids, Grand Haven, Holland area, that's where that brand new American Dunes is that I got to play quite a bit this past summer. But all of that golf is incredible value. And it's like 2.5 hours from the city.
Totally agree.
We got a place in
go ahead.
Where's your place in, Rob?
I was going to say we have a place out the side of St. Joe in Hager Shores. So we get to hit those places a lot. Like Tom gets Hawks Head. I like Hawks Head a lot in South Haven.
Yeah.
So
Beaches.
Beaches is awesome.
The shady, great little course. I 1000% agree with you. My mom's up in South Haven, so we try to play as many. Even Lake Mission Hills is a little sleeper of a gem.
Yep.
That course is awesome. Yeah, Michigan. It's weird because you go play a course like that. Like you said, you pay about half the fee, and then when you're on the course, you're like, does anybody even play this course? Like I know they're always so well taken care of. Like not a ton of traction. There's never really divot or ball marks on the greens. Like it's crazy. It's always a different vibe with Michigan golf.
Yeah.
Especially like early morning sunrise. You almost feel like you're somewhere else. Like you got the sunlight coming through the trees, and it's like, dude, where am I? It's awesome.
Yeah. So two things on that. I'm one of my goals with Good Golf Only is to play the top 100 public golf courses in America. So I'm using a Golf Digest list from 2018, 2019. I just basically took their list. I was at work one day, like checking off the boxes of like, how many of these have I played? And like by name recognition, you feel like you've played a ton of them because you know all the names.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I've only played 4 of these, or 5 of them, whatever. So I'm at 29 now. I started that about a year and a half ago. And so started going through like all the Michigan ones. But it's also led me to some of the courses that are like right near those top 100. So like in Michigan, there's a place called Tullymore. A lot of Chicago guys know it. It's, not too far north of Grand Rapids. Great course, decent value, but it's a more of like a resort forest dunes type experience. 15 minutes away is a place called Pilgrims Run, which is a Mike DeVries design. It's like you just described. A 7 a.m. tee time there on a morning in July is like absolutely pristine. You're the only person in the parking lot. You're the only person at the range. And you're about to play one of the best golf courses I've ever played for $70. And you're just like, how is this real? Like, and it's because like no one really lives by those courses, I think is kind of the reality. And in Chicago, we've got people driving out of the city, all the suburbs, like the Chicago courses are slammed usually.
But
I think the Michigan golf scene is pretty unique. And it's sweet to have it only 2.5, 3 hours away from here in the summer.
Yeah, we did Treetops Resort. This past July. That was a lot of fun. That was a great time.
Yep.
Where do you guys usually do your invite at, or do you guys move it, every year to a different course, or what?
Yeah, it's a good question. So 2020 was the first year. Conveniently, like got to do it right in the middle of COVID. Thought we were going to host it up at Arcadia. Arcadia was like, I cannot get you like 20 tee times. And this was 7 months out. So we did it in kind of based in Grand Haven. We played Harbor Shores right there in the kind of on the drive up. We played Tullymore, and they've got a sister course called St. Ives. So we did 36 out there. And then we did 18 at the Ravines. So it was all kind of like that West Michigan area.
Yep.
This last year, it was supposed to be at TPC Deer Run. Wanted to give the Illinois courses some love. It's only, an hour and a half away.
Yeah.
They called us a couple weeks before and they said like, hey, the PGA Tour called us. We got to redo all of our bunkers. We're closing 4 of the golf holes. And like it starts basically now.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, we've got 24 guys signed up for this event, 12 on 12. We had all the lodging booked, the restaurants, and we play 5 rounds of golf. So, or 4 rounds of golf, but it's, over 3 days. And so this is a lot to move it. So we ended up moving it out of there because we didn't want that experience. And we moved it to Wisconsin and had an awesome time. So we did it in kind of West Milwaukee area. The primary reason we went up there was for the club at Lac La Belle, which is like one of the best new courses in America.
Rob.
Have you guys played it?
Rob.
I played the first weekend of October, and it's like my top 3 now. It's insane.
Yeah, we had an amazing experience. Huge shout out to their hospitality. Like they were awesome. We spent the entire day there. We got there at 6 a.m., played 18, made the turn. It was very hectic for the turn. They were probably a little frustrated that we're like sending a million guys off in a row. Played 18 more, alt shot, so it was quicker. We did a drinks tab and dinner there, and then we like all took our shoes off and we're barefoot putting on that.
Yeah,
on that
right.
screen.
That was awesome.
And I was like, this is an amazing experience. The only thing it doesn't have on like a Sand Valley is like a second course and then on-site lock.
Yeah.
But I thought that place was incredible.
Yeah,
like amazing lives.
We talked to them because we do something similar. We do like sometimes it's 60 guys, sometimes it's 24, but we do a Ryder Cup every year too. We've been doing it for about 11 years, and we go between Michigan and Wisconsin. And we talked to them in October, and they seem pretty like they know houses that you can rent and stuff. So they're pretty cool about everything, it seemed like.
Yeah, we didn't get involved in like lake life there at all. But if you want to go up and do like the lake too, it's right off of that one lake that everyone has boats on. So yeah, it's a good spot. And those guys were really awesome. So
yeah, it was, like I said, that course is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
What did you think about their did you have a chance to look at their flyover on their website, Club Lac La Belle?
Yes. I thought that was one of the coolest pieces of technology I've ever used in golf.
Told you.
I
told you.
It's unbelievable.
I couldn't believe it. Yeah. I don't know who that company is or if they're going to start doing all the major courses, but it was like interactive. It was almost 3D.
Yeah. It was great.
So it's funny because Rob brought this up to me like 6 months ago, and I just kept like putting it off. I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll get to it. And then finally one day I was sitting there. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to jump on there. And I was blown away. And then I came on and I was like, hey, by the way, guess what I did over the weekend? And I called him and we talked about it for like a half hour. Like, it's almost like somebody literally drove on the course, like in a Google Maps car.
I know.
Like you said, it's like 3D, but you're also able to move like to your approach shot. You can move the tee around. It's like whoever is doing this is one. I mean, it's not cheap. It can't be. But yeah, I would be super interested in knowing who that company was as well and seeing what else.
I think gone are the days of like, you look at the scorecard. Like I brought the Kapalua scorecard to look at if we were going to talk about Kapalua, and I'm like, okay, so hole 1, I'm playing the championship tees. It's 470. I hit driver 260. I'll have 210 in. That's like usually how I would look at a scorecard,
Right. And
then now with this, you're like, okay, I can fly this bunker. Like I know this number. It's kind of crazy. I think we're getting close to like that technology being in the carts too, because we already have the flyovers.
Right.
I mean, imagine if you could get out there first time playing a course, actually feeling like you knew it, like you do at Lac La Belle.
So that's a great point, because there's a lot of, obviously Rob and I, like, one of our things is like, we love playing new courses, but on the flip side of that, like we love that mysteriousness of playing new course. But, once you finish a round, sure, you're like, man, I wish I could have another go at this track, just knowing what I know now. Yeah. To your point, like that is what's nice about some of these courses that do have, the monitors in the carts where you could kind of do that, but like it's nothing like Club Lac La Belle, like where you could get actual like to the yard, on each hole.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the problem with that, not the problem, but with that course is very targeted, right? Off the tee, and the starter was really awesome. Like if you talk about the first hole, if you think about the first hole, it's just like, well, you don't want to use driver type deal thing. So it was really, it was an awesome experience for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I think about like McCrae Memorial. I don't know if you guys have played that on the north side. Is it in your tour on the north side?
Yeah.
The place is so hard. And I went there with a buddy. He's like, yeah, I've seen it once. And I was like, okay, like I've I can usually figure out a course. First 3 holes, I hit this punch shot and it goes in the creek on 2. And I'm like, dude, you told me to punch. And he's like, yeah, well, you punched it too far. And I'm like, I don't understand this golf course. Like the next hole, he's like, okay, you can't hit driver off the tee, but then you're going to have a long iron in. And I'm like, okay, I need some form of like virtual mapping here because I have no idea where I'm hitting the golf ball. Like,
right. Yeah, and to your point, a place like that is a place you almost have to play there prior to. Otherwise, it's super frustrating. Yeah, that technology would be insane anywhere. But what kind of plans do you guys have for 2022? Are you guys looking to do anything more or add anything, or I'm sure you guys got some new stuff coming out.
Yeah, it's a good question. So I mean, a lot of what we focus on is, like if you're making merchandise, like I know you guys started recently, like that takes a lot of time and effort and stuff like that.
Right.
When I set out to do it, like I thought we could be the next like No Laying Up, and not even to compete with them. I just wanted to like be in that realm with them because like I think what they've done is so cool.
Yeah.
But when you're trying to make content, like it's very challenging and it's just like very time consuming as well. So the part that we love is like hosting tournaments, meeting new people, like selling hats and seeing our hats, like, at a random bar or like on a golf course, like somebody drove by with like one of our towels. Like that's the part that gets me excited. I think making content is challenging from like a video perspective. I love what you guys are doing, like starting a podcast. That's something we've thrown around. Like we chat golf all day long. We've got a group message always talking about the PGA Tour. Things like that are things I think are kind of in the hopeful for us. But when it's a side hustle, it's kind of hard. Like we all have full-time jobs. I literally just had a baby 2 weeks ago. So that's
congratulations.
Congrats.
But it's another job I just added to. So
Yep.
Things like that kind of keep us small. So I don't think we're going to like blow up and turn into anything massive. But yeah, we love kind of the small trajectory that we're on. And it keeps it fun and it makes it not as, stressful, I think.
Sure.
Right. You're doing it well, my man. You're definitely talking Rob and I's language here.
Right.
Yeah, media content is super hard and it is very time consuming. Like you said, this is essentially a side hustle for me and Rob, and we put a ton of work into it. But we've talked about almost having that aspect this year, and it's just crazy time consuming. Like you literally need a full-time editor like to do all of that work. So totally understand that. Did you have a boy or a girl?
Had a boy.
Nice. Congrats.
His name is Rory. So we're hoping for a golfer.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Very nice. Well, get all your golf in now, my man.
Yeah.
So the 2020 was 131 rounds for me, and 2021 was 85. So it's kind of trending down.
Yeah, right.
And I'm like, shoot, I might have hit my all-time low handicap. I might have shot the best score of my life already. Like, I don't know. Those things could be in the past now. Who knows? But we're hoping to, get him on the course eventually. He turned into more of a family sport too. But
for sure.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. That's exciting stuff, man.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah.
A ton of fun. So I had a baby girl in March. She's 10 months.
Nice.
And
congrats.
Thank you. It's been unbelievable. But getting to your point, like the whole trending down thing. So it's super interesting because now I was telling Rob earlier, I'm like, hey man, I think in 2022, I'm gonna be playing a ton of Twilight just because now that she's like not a baby anymore, and like, the weekends will be for like, family time and doing stuff together. Like it changes up the whole ball game. So it's now like, okay, when can I squeeze these rounds in? So it's gonna be,
dude,
it's gonna be.
That's why I go off at like 5:30 in the morning, man. Get it done right away, and then you have the whole day.
Yeah.
I like
going off. Where do you get those rounds in? Where do you play that early?
Well, I'm in Woodridge, so I like to do like 7 bridges early. I like to, basically anywhere we play. Heritage Bluffs. I like to get out there early. So I have 2 kids myself, so it's always the group that plays in the tour, we all have kids, so it's nice to get out like at the 6 o'clock, 5:45 tee time on the weekends and just have the course to yourself,
I know. Yeah, it's kind of like if I can be home by noon in the city, like changed and ready to do something on a Saturday, my wife is like, great, that's totally fine.
Exactly.
But, when you do that 9 a.m. round and you're out there till like 2 o'clock,
right.
It's like you're pushing your dinner plans. It's like, that's not gonna fly anymore.
Yeah,
so,
that's when we're all on the shit list.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
the way that I was prepping for this was I got my father-in-law really back into golf. He like took a 10-year gap, and so now he just joined American Dunes up in Michigan. He's like fully hooked, and then both my brother-in-laws are in. So when we're with her family, I'm like, I'm hanging out with your dad and your brother. Like you can't yell at them.
Yeah,
it's family time.
So it's family time. Exactly.
It's family time, man.
Perfect.
I love chatting golf. Could talk about it all day.
Oh, all day. Well, I was just gonna have you be a part of a little bit of breaking news for the 2020 season, because Rob mentioned Heritage Bluffs. So in a previous episode, I disappointed Rob by telling him that the Southside Tour was pulling Heritage Bluffs from them, and that's like one of his home tracks. So he was very.
I love Heritage Bluffs.
But breaking news, Rob, Heritage Bluffs is going to be on the West Side Tour and the South Side Tour in 2022.
So golf is back.
You got your Heritage Bluffs back.
Yes, so, thank you.
Yeah, Daniel's probably like, that's breaking news, but Rob,
I love that track, man. That is
Heritage Bluffs easy or hard?
It's tough. It's tough.
A lot of it's target golf off the tee as well, but it's such a nice it's a nice walking course. I love walking, so it's just like a perfect morning, get out there and enjoy your round type deal thing. And they keep it in such great shape, for what it is. It's awesome.
So I've only played it once, and I played with Shane, who's one of my partners, and he's our stick in the group. Like he's a +1, and we both got beat up by it. And I was like, I think this place was sneaky hard. Like, I'm not sure. Like, I wasn't sure if we just didn't know the course, but like you said, it's in absolutely perfect shape. And I thought it was one of the more fun routings that there is in Illinois, honestly.
Super fun routing. Sneaky hard. It almost plays linksy for a couple holes, and then it turns back to, Parkland once you get into that like back corner. But Rob's point, super targeted, even a lot. Yeah. So off the tee, very targeted. And then even, approach shots, like what is that, Rob? 11, where you kind of got to like lay up downhill. And just kind of like a dog in. Yeah. It's super sneaky hard. It's tight. But yeah, it's always in great, like for a Park District course, like that place is a no-brainer hidden gem. What'd you walk it for last year, Rob? Like
$17.
Jeez.
Like it was awesome.
That's incredible. Wow.
Yeah.
A lot of our guys said that the Chicago Golf Tour was one of the most fun things they did, but they said it hurt their handicaps. They're like, man, putting everything out was really challenging. They're like, I'm like a really legit 21 now, is what they were saying. And like, these are guys who, could kind of break 90 on a good day.
Yeah.
Like I shot a 103 because I had to putt every 1-footer. And I'm like, yeah, that's where real amateurs like definitely struggle for sure.
It's a different ball game, my man.
It's the nerves, man. It's the nerves.
So
go ahead.
I was going to say, I've played golf for, I don't know, I'm 29 almost, and I've played golf for maybe 18 years of my life, something like that. I had never played competitive golf in my life. And I got to the lowest index I'd ever been at, had done all of the milestones. And I was like, I need to play competitive golf just to feel the vibes of it.
Yeah.
One of my best friends from college came out and caddied for me, and she played on the Indiana golf team, and she was, D1 golfer. So it was like helpful to have her. The first hole, I was like aiming a fairway left because there was OB right, and the guy I played with pumped it right. And I'm just like, I've never felt this. Like I looked at my whoop scores afterwards, and it was like watching the PGA Tour, you're like heart rate skyrocketing. Like I hit the like only shank of the summer on like a par 5 from 60 yards. I was like, I've never done that before. Like just all those vibes of competitive golf is so different. And I think that's why what you guys are doing is really fun. Cause you can go out with your buddies and like play a money game and give each other 5-footers and, play match play, whatever you want to do.
Right.
But when it matters for a score and you got to put out, if you miss the 2-footer, you got to make the next 2-footer. Like that's a totally different level of golf. And that's why I think what you guys are doing is really fun. Cause it's like, it's hard to find that. Or you pay $200 for a qualifier at CDGA,
Yeah, right. And I appreciate that. And it's a different ball, especially like in majors. Like even to this day, I'll go knowing that I'm playing the Masters at like Ravislow, and I'll have butterflies, and I'll be like, okay, because I know, this event is worth more points. Obviously, the name's going up on the leaderboard. Like a lot of guys that played in it for the first year this year said the same exact thing. Like, but that's what gets guys coming back. They're like, we love having that feeling, like, you know, standing over a 3-footer that maybe might not mean a whole lot. You know, maybe it's just points at the end of the day, but it's a different style of game. And I think, to your point, a lot of guys enjoy that. But are you talking about the round that you played at Balmoral?
Yeah, that was at that was a CDGA. I get them confused. That was the state mid-am qualifier. There's a CDGA mid-am qualifier too. That was the state mid-am.
Yeah.
I shot 81, so I missed it by like 3 or 4, and it was no doubles, only 1 birdie, and it was just like 10 bogeys. And they were all like, I was like, oh, it was a good bogey. Yeah. But I played Balmoral 5 times this year. You would believe it, but 81 is the worst score I shot there. Like, not even close. I shot 76 there like a week later, and I was like, it was all nerves. It was all pressure. Just like a totally different vibe. And so my younger brother played college golf, and he was like, dude, now you know when I shot like 36 on the front, why I shot a 42 on the back. He's like, it's hard. It's really, really hard. Like, you don't realize how hard it is in competitive golf. Yeah. And so they were all watching my scores, and like, you know, they were checking the app, refreshing my scores, texting my caddy, and they were like, dude, what happened? I'm like, honestly, nothing. Like, I just made bogeys. Like, it was just like, it's way harder than I realized. So yeah. The only thing I would say is harder than that is, so Shane, my partner, and I played at Tobacco Road down in North Carolina. We played in like one of their invitational tournaments, and it was kind of Ryder Cup style, all condensed into a weekend, 2-man though. And so when you're playing alt shot, and if you miss the 3-footer, like, their greens are slippery. Oh yeah. You have a 3-4-footer coming back, and Shane's got to make it. You're like, frick, man. Yeah. So our only rule was you couldn't say sorry, but I would like and be like, I really want to say I'm sorry right now, you know?
Right. I mean, that's how it is for the Ryder Cup that we do, because one of the rounds is alternate shot. That's how you start off. Like, you can never say sorry. You know, it is what it is. But you're right. The nerves on that is just insane, you know?
Yeah, one of my old roommates and I, he's always my alt shot partner in our Ryder Cup too. And I'm kind of like a, you know, try to get him hyped up. So I'm like, I hit this drive into a greenside bunker at La Cabane, like that short par 4, maybe 6 or 7. And I'm trying to get him amped up in the bunker. And I'm like, dude, you got this. Like, we're about to make an easy birdie. Like, get up. And he's like, dude, I need you to not hype me up. Like, that doesn't help. He left in the bunker, and he was like, dude, I'm really sorry. And I was like, our only rule is you can't say sorry, you know? Right. But it is funny when you leave somebody else with a hard shot. Like, it feels a lot worse than, like, the pros say the same thing. They're like, I don't want to putt somebody else's putt. Right. I want to make one putt.
Right. But yeah, we hope to have you in 2022. We got a lot of new stuff coming out. Obviously the schedules will be fire again, but yeah, we'd love to have you guys on. It's a great experience. Meet a lot of guys, you know, that talk shop and, you know, talk golf all day. But you know, hopefully you guys, you know, take care of that little baby, and you guys have a great you know, Happy New Year.
Awesome. Thanks for having me on, guys. Much appreciated.
It's being you, dude.
Thanks.
All right. Yeah, take care, guys.
See you, buddy.
Talk to you later.
All right, folks. We interrupt this broadcast for the Sony Open Book It with T picks. At 300-1, we got Kurt Kitayama. At 130-1, Emiliano Grillo. 60-1, Cam Davis. 50-1, Maverick McNeely. And the odds favorite, Sungjae Im, at 18-1. And you could book it with T. Back to the broadcast. Daniel from Good Golf Only. What a guy. I mean,
what a nice guy, man.
He's a guy, you know, talk shop all day, talk golf all day.
Just like one of us.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure so going back, me and him have talked quite a bit via Instagram. So we actually tried to get out at the end of the year. Didn't happen. But yeah, I'm sure we'll be out this year, you know, with the Good Golf family. So yeah, super excited for that. But yeah, they got a really good thing going. You know, I think their brand is super clean. You know, their logo, their hats are all really nice. Just the way that they deliver their products is really cool. So yeah, we were super pumped to have him on.
Yeah, it's easy to talk to, so it was nice.
Yeah, you know, as soon as he started, I felt like he was up your alley all episode. And you know, especially
you talk Michigan golf and you talk the club. Let's do it.
Yeah, and I'm like, man, I'm like, Rob is probably feeling all these vibes right now. So, but yeah, Michigan golf, dude. We've talked about it before. I've preached it. I just think it's a whole different ball game. I mean, the courses, the pricing, all of that. Like,
oh yeah,
I think guys once they play there, they're kind of set. Especially as you, like Daniel was saying, as you start to get up in that like northwest region of like Grand Rapids, South Haven, and then even further up north, like Traverse City, like that's some of the best golf in the country. I mean,
exactly.
It's crazy good. But yeah, what an episode. What a first guest for the 2022 CGT podcast.
Let's go. We got the new segments. We got the new guests. It's been good so far.
Yeah, we're rolling here. We're like I said, we're moving and shaking in 2022. Trying to give you guys the best possible content.
Grinding.
Next episode is going to be a good one. We're actually going to dive pretty deep into all of the new stuff that we're offering in 2022.
Sweet.
We're gonna kickstart that. I know we talked a little bit about it like early on in the podcast, but that was like very preliminary things that weren't necessarily finalized, and we kind of gave you guys a little bit of what we're going to be offering, but we're essentially going to lay it all out for you guys. So next episode is a huge one, especially leading up to the golf shows, and then that should carry us into registration, which we're hoping for March 1st, maybe sooner. But yeah, golf is back, Rob.
Golf is back, Tom.
And as always, Rob, it is time for the top three.
All right, let me hear it.
What is your top three out of state golf destinations that you want to play in the next, say, 5 years?
That's pretty good. That's a good question. Well, Sand Valley's close, but I really want to do that. That's like hopefully this year, but yeah, that's something that I really, really want to try to get out to. Sand Valley, Bandon, obviously, that looks like a sick place to, play. And then to be honest with you, like I've already played it, but I just want the experience of playing Sweetens Cove again, just going out to Tennessee, getting out there again and enjoying a nice little weekend like that, because that place is just a playground for golfers like us. It's crazy.
It looks like a sweet little spot, little vibey.
Yeah, dude, it's like, honestly, like if you got three other guys that you're just trying to do a weekend, not too far, not too expensive, like they do an all-day golf pass, and it's like you get there from sun up and you stay to sundown. And I don't know if you really looked into it, but it's cool. They got 2 pins on every green, so it's like you're playing, 18. It's a 9-hole course, but
right,
you get to pick and choose, and then they do like cross country golf on it. Like if it's dead, they got this whole routing of how to do cross country. It's an awesome place to be. But yeah, I think that would be my top 3. How about yourself?
Yeah, I would probably say, I'd probably start maybe local. So my 3-hole would be like a Lasonia. I've heard nothing great things about Lasonia up in Wisconsin. I couldn't decide whether between like Lasonia or like the Loop in Michigan. So, but the Loop is private, so it might be super tough to get on. So yeah, Lasonia would probably be the 3-hole. And then 2, I would say I would probably go Pinehurst.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great point.
Like a Pinehurst tobacco combo. And then 1, Bandon, obviously. Yeah, I'm super curious just because I think we've talked about this before. The only issue I have, like in my luck, like knowing my luck, like we'd book Bandon, we'd go out there, and like it would be a 4-club win the entire time. Like that's my only thing is like I don't know, like in all the pictures and videos that you typically see, it's like either pissing rain or like super windy there. So it's like, what makes that place so special if the conditions stink?
Right. No, that's a great point.
But obviously the golf looks ridiculous. So, if we can sneak in a couple just like mild, days, then absolutely. So as always there, Rob, we'll see you in the fairway.
Well, you have safe travels and I'll see you in the fairway.
My man. I'll see you, buddy.
Later, dude.
Later.